Good morning, dear fellows. How are you today? I'm doing all right in my case. So welcome to a new session. On a previous class, we were studying a little bit of metalinguistic content about school and education, a little bit of, in this case, law and order. I also recorded a capsule last week, and I'm going to start sharing my screen with you guys to show you the things that we've been dealing with, a little of modal verbs, right? In case you want to check out the capsule that I recorded last week, it's right here. Okay, on files, there's here like a content related to, in this case, school or university and models of probability. Today we should be dealing with passive voice. And if we got some time left, we can study a little bit of reflexive and reciprocal pronouns. But let's start checking out passive voice. Well, you know that in the English language, we have the active voice and the passive one. All right. And what is the difference between active and passive voice? Basically, active voice is, in this case, focused on the subject, right? On the doer of the action. So that's why, for example, when we use active voice, normally we start with the subject, okay? Or the subject is pretty much the center of the conversation in this case. I do my homework. He is doing his homework. We did our homework. So normally the subject is here, pretty much the important thing, right? What about the passive voice? Is the opposite, right? When we use the passive voice, the focus is on the object, not the subject. So basically, in this sentence, I do my homework. I is the most important thing regarding the voice. Passive, in this case, homework. The homework is the focus, right? Also, there are different uses. In this case, related with the passive voice. Normally, we use passive voice with academic formal writing. Also, for example, in spoken English, journalists, reporters, broadcasters, in this case, they use a lot of passive voice. Passive voice is commonly used in formal contexts, right? Formal context, written and spoken. All right. I'm not saying that we shouldn't use passive voice in everyday life, but it depends on the context and the intention, right? What else? Regarding the form, in this case, specifically the grammar, the form, the structure. Active and passive voice are used with pretty much all the tenses. Okay, you know that the tense or el tiempo verbal is, in this case, there are a lot of different tenses and combination of tenses. We got the present simple, present continuous, past simple, past continuous, present perfect, etc. And when we use the passive voice, what we need to conjugate is the verb to be. All right. So for example, if you check out the present simple passive, verb to be is, present continuous is being, past simple was, past continuous was being, present perfect has been, and so on, right? So we need to, in this case, discuss a little bit more about the structure. So hold on a sec. I'm going to show you this thing. So we got the active voice formula in this case, which is like a general formula, right? We got the subject, which can be a personal pronoun or nouns in general phrases, which can be the subject or doers of the action, plus the verb in this case, which is normally the main verb conjugated in any tense, and plus an object or an adverbial phrase. Okay. An object is pretty much in this case, the receiver of an action, right? We got the subject, object. Subject is active. Subject is the doer, and the object is the passive, in this case, receiver of any action, right? It's not the same as active and passive voice. It's not the same. And also the adverbial phrases can be adverbial phrases of time, of place, etc. So this is in this case, the general, scheme for the active voice. On the contrary, the passive voice is way different, because the object in this case is pretty much the most important thing, as I told you. So in this case, we can start with, I don't know, with a book, with a building, with a situation, etc., right? We're not talking in this case. We don't start with the doer of the action, because it's not the focus. It's not important in this case when we use the passive voice, right? So we put the emphasis on what is done, not on who has done it. Okay. After the object, we use the verb to be in different tenses. Verb to be, present simple, past simple, present perfect, past perfect, etc., right? So the verb to be is gonna change, right, according to the tense. And plus the past participle. Verb to be in this case is considered an auxiliary verb, right? Past participle in this case is considered the main verb. Okay, so it's gonna change, just like verb to be, but this is the past participle is going to indicate in this case the main action. What has been done. All right. And finally, the subject, which many times is optional. It depends on the nature of the verb, because you know that there are transitive and intransitive verbs. So that is in this case very important, because transitive verbs normally need an object. They need another element. Otherwise, the phrase or the sentence is incomplete. So, for example, if I say, I don't know, play, normally you need another element to indicate what do you play. Are you playing video games? Are you playing the guitar? Right? What kind of in this case game? Or what kind of instrument? It depends on the context. So there are verbs which alone cannot complete a sentence. You need more elements, right? So those are the transitive and intransitive verbs. Transitive need another element. Intransitive, they stand alone with no more elements, right? So depending on the nature of the verb, we can use a subject if it is necessary, and if not, the sentence in this case just stays alone or stands alone. And the adverbial phrase in this case is completely optional, right? If you want to add, for example, a date, year, or if you want to add a place in particular, that's optional. Okay. Example: Hamlet was written by Shakespeare. If you say, for example, Hamlet was written in this case, and you just take it off, I'm gonna take it off in this case. If you read this, you notice that there's something missing, right? Hamlet was written. All right, everybody knows that Hamlet is a book, and actually it was written because we've seen it, right? But still, the idea feels, in this case, we feel that the idea is incomplete. So we need more elements, right? So we need an author, for example. And so that's why we, in this case, we can put by Shakespeare. So in this case, the idea is complete. Hamlet was written by Shakespeare. All right. In this case, the nature of the verb written in this case demands more information. In this case, is by Shakespeare, right? Now, in that case, the idea is complete. All right, the sentence is complete. But if we want to add more information, more elements, still it is still possible, right? But it's not. It is optional. It's not compulsory, right? So we can add, for example, in the 20th century. All right. So it works similarly to the active voice, but we need to understand that in this case, Hamlet is the focus, not Shakespeare. All right. And also it's not the H as well. All right. So far so good. Any questions, guys? In general, you can use the chat room if you don't want to use the microphone. Any questions? Any comments so far? Do you understand what I'm saying? All good? Thumb up at least. I don't know. Por último, díganme, oye, está fome la clase. Thank you, Fran. Thanks a lot. Ok, ¿cómo va a ser que están vives? All good, dice el Maxi. Ya vale, ya. All right, so let's continue. Being said this, we can go back here to passive. You're going to see that there are different, in this case, conjugations in relation to the tense. So, for example, here, active voice, I must do my homework, right? Passive, my homework must be done. So you have to notice that when you transform a sentence from the active voice to the passive voice, or vice versa, you need to keep, in this case, you need to keep the tense. All right. So one problem that I've noticed is that when we are going to transform from active to passive, some people they change the tense, but we don't have to change the tense in this case, right? We need to keep the tense. The problem is that we need to conjugate the verb to be with different tenses. All right. So we're going to practice with that. We're going to practice. Hold on, right here. We're going to, in this case, change the sentences from active to passive voice. All right. We can make mistakes because we're learning. All right. So we're going to start with number one. The active in this case sentence is my brother walks the dog. All right. So the idea is to choose the right tense in this case in the passive voice. So you can see clearly that the dog in this case is the object. We put it at the beginning, and then we need to conjugate the verb to be in this case in simple present tense. All right. And then we add the past participle. We add the past participle for the passive voice. All right. So my question is, the dog is being walked by my brother, the dog was walked by my brother, or the dog is walked by my brother. So you can type the answer in the chat room, or you can use the microphone, whatever you want, guys. So I'm going to be reading you. Fran dice, is being walked. All right. Do you guys agree with Fran, Andrea? The dog is being walked by my brother. Is that right? So remember that if you're using walks, which is the simple present tense, if you're using walks and the active voice sentence, you need to keep the simple present tense and the conjugation of the passive voice. Right? That's the only clue that I'm going to give you. If you guys agree with Fran Andrea, I'm going to click on is being walked and we're going to check at the end, right? Pero yo voy a poner lo que ustedes me digan y al final chequeamos, ¿vale? Si se quieren desdecir, si se quieren arrepentir y cambiarla, no problem. You let me know. Number two, he opened the window. So here we're using opened. We conjugated open in the simple past tense. All right, simple past tense. So we got three options. The window is opened by him, the window was opened by him, and the window has been opened. In this case, by him is not necessary. I would say it's just that's just an extra, right? A bonus. But the window, for example, has been opened is pretty much enough to complete the idea. So what do you say? The window is, was, has been opened. Any ideas? Fran Andrea, has been. El Maxi dice has been opened. Okay, okay. Anybody else? All right, so I'm going to click on this one, right? Good. Remember, if you think you have to change the option, just let me know, all right? Someone has stolen my treasure. Someone has stolen my treasure. My treasure has been stolen. My treasure was stolen. My treasure is stolen. So pay attention here. Has stolen is, in this case, conjugated in the present perfect tense. So you have to remember, you have to keep the tense. All right? Keep the tense, present perfect. So, Fran Andrea dice, has been stolen. All right? El Derek dice, has been stolen too. All right? El Max dice, oh. So remember, you need to keep the tense. All right? Anybody else? Valentina, what do you think? Valentina Cortés. Do you agree with Derek and Fran Andre? You can type yes or no. Of course, dice Valentina. Of course, my horse. All right. There you go. Entonces, has been stolen. No, ¿cómo era? Has been stolen. There you go. My treasure has been stolen. All right. Next, they will sell the house. They will sell the house. All right. Pay attention here. Will sell in this case. What kind of tense is that? Is that present, past, future? And if it is future, what kind of future? Tenemos que terminar primer año conociendo todos los tenses. Si no cachamos todos los tenses bien en primero, van a tener que cacharlo en segundo. Y lo que pasa es que esto les va a pegar. Sí, primero hay que repasar todo esto, porque si no, después en segundo, los profes van a dar por sentado de que ustedes se saben todos los tenses al revés y al derecho. Entonces, se va a poner más difícil la pista con el tiempo. Entonces, esto hay que tenerlo claro ahora. So they will sell the house, right? Futuro normal, dice la Valentina. Ok, sí, es un simple future, very good. Simple future. Ya te sabe que está el present simple, past simple, and future simple. ¿Ya? Y es simple porque no es complejo, ¿no? Es simple porque no lleva, por ejemplo, otro, un auxiliary verb, por ejemplo, como en el caso de los aspectos, el aspecto perfecto, que lleva un have y un has, ¿cierto? O el aspecto progresivo, que lleva en ese caso un verbo to be con un ing, ¿se fijan? Lo progresivo lo marca el ing, ¿sí? El gerund, ¿ya? Entonces, para que vayan, digamos, en ese sentido, aprendiendo cuáles son los aspectos, el aspecto perfecto, el simple y el progresivo o continuo, ¿cierto? Los verbos, digamos, las conjugaciones van marcando qué es qué, en ese sentido, ¿ya? Si tienen preguntas sobre eso, háganme preguntas nomás, cabres, o sea, ¿ya? Entonces ya, tenemos que ese future simple, ¿ya? They will sell the house. Entonces tenemos que mantener en este caso el future simple, right? Por lo tanto, ¿cuál sería la mejor opción? Tenemos the house will have been sold by them, the house will be sold by them, or the house would be sold by them. ¿Ok? Entonces, la Valentina dice, the house will be sold by them. ¿Ok? El Derek dice, will be sold. La Fran dice, I agree. All right, very good. Me gusta eso ahí, respuesta ahí, tum, como metralleta. Me gusta. No importa si se equivocan, para eso nos corregimos, ¿no? Entonces, the house will have been sold. The house will be sold. All right. Marquémoslo entonces. Ya, otra cosa importante que tiene que ver, the house will be sold, es una oración que puede en ese caso mantenerse solita, mantiene su significado, ¿cierto?, intacto, si le saco el by them. La casa será vendida, punto. The house will be sold. El by them es un extra en este caso. No necesitamos mencionar el subject. Igual está ahí como información adicional, ¿cierto? Which is okay. Pero hay que saber diferenciar ahí, por cierto. ¿Necesito el sujeto o no lo necesito? En este caso no se necesita, ¿ya? ¿Qué más? Sam is washing the car. All right. Sam is washing the car. Options. The car has been washed. The car is being washed. Or the car was being washed. Entonces, primero tenemos que fijarnos en este caso, el tense de la active voice, en este caso, que sería is washing, which is, ¿qué tiempo es este? ¿Qué tiempo es el is washing? ¿Alguien sabe? ¿Alguna por ahí? Present continuous, dice el Derek. La Fran dice present continuous. Muy bien, that's correct. Y también la Valentina dijo presente continuo. Very good. It's okay. Sí, el progressive o el continuous es lo mismo. Ya el aspecto en ese sentido se usa el continuous o el progressive, ¿ya? Very good, excellent. Entonces, tenemos que mantener el present continuous en este caso, ¿ya? ¿Con cuál se mantiene? ¿Con el has been, con el is being o con el was being? ¿Qué dice el público? ¿Qué dice el pueblo? Dice, la Fran dice is being washed. ¿Es una pregunta? El Derek dice is being. Ya, Valentina dice is being. El Maxi dice yes. Ya, perfecto. Entonces, pongámoslo. Is being washed. Ya. Después, obviamente, hay que revisar arriba, porque si arriba van a cambiar algo, tienen que avisarme, porque si no, después le tiro el check y va a estar, si está mala, es responsable de ustedes. Ya, entonces, siguiente. The girls had eaten the cakes. The girls, la primera revisamos, ya la revisamos después, antes del check. Dice, the girls had eaten the cakes, right? Tenemos, the cakes had been eaten, are eaten, or were eaten by the girls. La Fran dice el had been, okay. El Derek dice had been eaten, all right. Anybody else? You guys agree with Fran and Derek? Aquí tenemos, ¿cierto? Had eaten, right? Had eaten. So, do you guys recognize the tense in this case? La Vale dice, mi cerebro está funcionando parcialmente nomás. La entiendo, Valentina, que también a veces funciona solamente en un 20%, y con eso me muevo en piloto automático, a veces no. Entonces, girls have eaten the cakes. ¿Cuál es este tense? ¿Cuál será este tense, este tiempo verbal? Chananan. El past perfect. Muy bien, Valentina, muy bien, Fran. Es el past perfect simple, right? Porque también hay un past perfect continuous. Entonces, ya, teniendo que es un past perfect, tenemos que escoger cuál es el que mantiene el tense, ¿cierto? El had been eaten, are eaten, or were eaten, right? Bueno, en todo caso aquí la Fran y el Derek ya habían dicho had been. Ya, if you guys agree, vamos a dejar el had been, ¿cierto? Porque fue el most voted. They're going to plant the trees, and they're going to plant trees. They're going to plant trees, yeah. Entonces, tenemos que passive dice trees were going to be planted, trees are being planted, and trees are going to be planted. So you got to choose. Aquí, fijémonos en el active, dice are going to plant, right? This is pretty much future, pero no es un future simple. ¿Ya? Es un future be going to, que se le llama, es como una categoría por sí mismo. Future with be going to. All right? Entonces, La Vale dice la última. Ok. Are going to be playing it. La Fran dice are going. Yeah. All right. What about the rest of the class? You guys agree? Or are you sleeping? Are you meditating? El Derek dice yes. I don't judge you. If you're sleeping, I don't judge you. I understand you. All right. Entonces trees are going to be planted, right? If you guys agree, we're gonna click on it. Uh-huh. And finally, David was buying a book. All right. This is, en este caso, ¿alguien reconoce el tense aquí? ¿Qué es lo que es was buying? ¿Qué clase de tense? Anybody? El pasado continuo. There you go. Past continuous. Past progressive. Good job. Excellent. Now, we have to keep the past continuous in this case. Y tenemos, a book has bought by David. A book has been bought and a book was being bought by David. La Vale dice, a book was bought. El Derek dice, was being. La Fran dice, was being. All right, was being, was bought by, yeah. Was bought. Ya, ¿qué más? Was being, la válida, ya. Este de acá. All right. Ya, en este caso están todas contestadas. Entonces vamos a revisar las primeras que ustedes me dijeron ya. My brother walks the dog y dice, the dog is being walked by my brother. ¿Hay algo que cambiar ahí o está todo ok? El walks está en present simple. Está en present simple. ¿Ya? Para que usted sepa. Por lo tanto, ¿mantenemos el the dog is being walked o lo cambiamos? ¿Qué dice mi gente? Ay, no, dice la. Me acordé del meme que sale un monito, como un teddy. Dice, ay, no. Que el being es importante para el passive. No. El verb to be es importante, pero no necesariamente. Sí, el verb to be es importante, pero el verb to be puede estar como is, am, are, o puede estar como was, o puede estar como will be. Dice is walked, podría ser, dice el Derek. El Maxi Briones dice is walked, por decir algo. Is walked porque está en present simple. Ah, muy bien, vale. Cierto, ahí está. ¿Ya? Bien, bueno, bien todos. ¿Ya? All right. Vamos a cambiarlo a is walked porque el verb to be está en present simple. El is, ¿cierto? Ahí agree con la vale. There you go. La 2 igual está mala, dice el Maxi. A ver, veamos. He opened the window. Tenemos que el tense aquí es un simple past, right? Y acá dice, the window has been opened. Entonces, si alguien quiere cambiarlo, el Derek dice was open, la Fran dice was open, was, past simple. All right. ¿Ven que cambiaron la perspectiva? Había que seguir haciendo ejercicio y seguir como analizándolo y procesándolo y explicándolo, ¿ya? Past simple, dice la Valentina. There you go. I agree with you guys. Y esas dos nomás, y de ahí para abajo está ok. Has been stolen. Sí, pues dice la Vale. Ya, ok. Le damos el check. Sí, dice el Derek, está de pana, ¿cierto? Está del corte, como dicen por ahí, del corte fino. No tengo tanta memoria, así que sí, ya. Okidoki. So, ¿le damos el check o no le damos el check? Chan, chan, chan. Okidoki. Ya, si está malo no es mi culpa. No, sí es mi culpa porque yo soy vuestro profesor y tengo que asumir responsabilidad. Así que le damos el check. Excellent. Estamos well done. More, dice, your score is 100%. Very good. Fantastic. Yo creo que está listo para titularse, ¿o no? ¿Qué dicen? Somos el mejor país de Chile. Ya, pues ahí les imprimo el diploma. Clap, clap. Regáleme el título. Claro, están a 500 lucas. Por correo, por PDF, te lo mando por PDF. Oh, good job, guys. Well done, well done. So if you want to keep on practicing with, in this case, passive voice, lo voy a subir, digamos, voy a subir el ejercicio, porque aquí hay harto ejercicio en todo caso, ¿ya? Tienen aquí para practicar muchísimo con passive voice, hasta que se aburran. Así que lo voy a subir en este caso a enlaces para que puedan hacer clic ahí y hacer ejercicio. ¿Qué más? Next week is Recess Week, ¿cierto? Tenemos la Autonomous Work. Va a haber una asamblea que nos van a invitar súper importante, triestamental, porque tenemos que discutir varios temas. Uno de ellos es el tema de la vuelta a clase en septiembre ahora, ya en fase 4 y probablemente quizás después del 31 de septiembre quizá va a haber apertura total si es que los casos no suben de la variante Delta, probablemente hay apertura total. Entonces ahí los aforos cambian. ¿Ya? Y ahí ya se libera mucho más el tema. Obviamente hay que siempre usar mascarilla, ¿cierto? Y vacunarse, mantener distancias, ¿cierto? Razonables y todo eso, ¿ya? Pero puede que haya un cambio importante de aquí a octubre, ¿ya? Porque ya se acaba, digamos, en este caso el estado de excepción, a no ser que el Congreso diga otra cosa, ¿ya? Y el super mega presidente que tenemos, entre comillas, entonces hay que estar atentos ahí con al lupo. Y bueno, acreditación también importante, ya también se va a hablar de esos temas, cómo los estudiantes pueden aportar a la acreditación de la universidad. Así que para que estén informados, lo más probable es que sea el próximo miércoles. Yo sé que es semana de receso, pero es que la verdad que es tan urgente la cuestión que lo más probable es que sea el miércoles a las 11:30, pero ahí lo van a confirmar, ¿ya? Puede que cambien la hora o el día, pero hay una reunión súper importante que ojalá estemos todos, ¿ya? Y bueno, semana de receso, después viene el tiki tiki ti, ¿cierto? Holidays. Así que si nos vemos bien en 2 more weeks, ¿ya? Así que eso, pásenlo bien, enjoy, no tomen tanto, ya, bueno, no tengo moral para decirlo, pero en fin. Lo más probable es que, sí, lo más probable es que den toda la semana del 13 en adelante, ¿ya? Considerando la experiencia en el PEDA, o sea, normalmente lo lógico sería dar las 2 semanas, ¿ya? O sea, onda del 6 hasta el 17 y volveríamos el 20, ¿ya? Porque si no, claro, obviamente, o sea, son holidays de primavera. Bueno, así que, no, de invierno, tenéis toda la razón, no va a entrar la primavera. Mira, si llegase a haber clase, habría clases del 13 al 16, ¿ya? Spring break, absolutely, absolutely. Ya, pero no, yo no les puedo asegurar. Wake me up when September ends. Good reference. I love Green Day. Así que 13 to 16 no les puedo asegurar que vaya a haber clase, como digo, que están todos los ánimos como para que esa semana como que nadie quiere hacer nada, ¿ya? Pero hay que confirmarlo. Ya, lo más probable es que llegue un memo, llegue un correo. Ya. Eso, take care. See you soon. And enjoy the holidays. Sayonara des. Take care. See you. Chalupa. Bye. You're welcome.